Assalamu alaikum. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode.
We're back.
We here
with all the yellowness. Yeah.
and the beautiful artwork and the scope. I don't know what this thing's called. It's a vibe. It's honestly a vibe.
The vibe.
Can I just say, wallahi, just sitting here and it being a full house. Wow. It's been a long time coming. 2 years of what? Pandemic. Allahumma barik. Like 3 of the brothers got married.
Oh, mashallah,
Jeez.
mashallah.
Mashallah.
I am not one of them.
So it's
known.
yeah,
Bro, wallahi, when you said that, for a moment I was trying to do the math like who's the third person. Bro, I swear for a moment.
You're the most recent edition. That's why.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, yo, it's me. That's crazy.
So, mashallah, wallahi, a lot has changed in the last, 2 years, 2.5 years. Some of our young boys have grown up, mashallah. You know what I mean? Elevated in life. Allahumma barik. How are you guys feeling? What's going on?
Life is different, bro. Well, yeah, life is very different. It's been a very long time. I think scope. I was saying to Yasin before we came here, and I was like, "Yo, when was the last time we were on video or like on scope at all even?" And I think it was before like
At least 3 years ago.
yeah, bro, at least 3-4 years
Before
ago.
COVID, definitely.
Yeah.
Way before COVID though. Way before COVID, because I was on a trip. Even before the trip that we took together, even before then, that was the last time we did it, bro. If you think about it,
Even before then.
even before then, actually.
It was when you lot wearing all black, bruv. Remember? Black turtlenecks and black caps.
Nah,
Nah, it
that
wasn't
was
that far
way
back.
in.
That was like 2016.
That's
you know.
2016. Nah, but it's been so long. Well, I'd say I'm actually leaning towards like 4 years. I feel like it's been since we've been in scope videos, isn't it? And there's not been nothing like odd. It's not been like a personal thing. It's just like life, and life has.
For you, it wasn't personal.
Is it was it for you personally?
It was for me.
What happened?
What happened, Yasin?
Well, basically, innit, this guy's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah,
This guy's a Real Madrid fan.
yeah,
And this guy's another Arsenal fan, innit?
yeah.
If I'm going to be around scumbags, I'm going to go to the local prison, you know what I mean?
It's
But
sad.
life, I feel like life has kept us very busy, subhanallah, in comparison to like to what we used to be like back in the day when we were younger, innit? Because we used to go to London on a regular basis. We used to do events. We did a lot of things with Scope, especially. It's been a journey. Like, it's crazy how we can actually put a timestamp on like the different places we were in life.
Different eras.
Yeah, different areas of where we were in life when you look at scope, right? Because at one point when we were in the scope, you guys were in medical school, or we call it university anyway. You guys were doing that, and then you can look at different parts of life. It's very interesting. What like scope has got a very fruitful timeline.
And I feel like we've grown with scope. We've become adults. Like you said, you can see the different stages in our lives based on what year it was and what we were doing. Like at one point we were all in uni, and then some people graduated and they were working. Others were still in university, and then some people got married. Some people just finished university, and it's like different stages, but we're all growing, and it is good. It's beautiful to see. Wallahi, Allahumma barik.
It is, man. It is. But you know what's beautiful? The fact that scope still exists in it.
Yeah,
I feel like that's a very beautiful thing, because there's a lot of people that had very similar things to scope, but they all trickled away in it. So it's good to see that the brotherhood, honestly speaking, is still there. Because I feel even without scope, we are all like genuine brothers in Alhamdulillah, which is a blessing to have.
Yeah,
Alhamdulillah,
I think we're very lucky in that, kind of friendship group that we're having. Do you know what I'm saying? It's people. I think some people used to say, oh, you guys sometimes you travel together, or you guys are always together. How do you guys manage? And for us, it's normal. It's not really a thing. Like
Yeah,
that.
we don't see it as a big thing, but wallah, it's a blessing.
It's mad. It's very rare to find people that are like cool to travel with, even one person. So the fact that everybody in our group is like, you know what I mean, like a buzz when we're traveling, when we're going places, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, it's a very rare thing.
Because you really get to know someone when you travel with them. You get it. And the fact of having killed each other
Yeah.
after we
Come
traveled to
close.
several. You always have the moments, innit? Mussa. But we always had the moments, but alhamdulillah, all those experiences are always going to be there in our hearts.
It's nice though, like, because we think it's not like it's a common thing, whatever. But it's genuinely a rarity, and it became weird to me when we used to get about and people used to be like, "Oh, you guys got a really good friendships," and I just thought like, it's like, I swear this is how it's meant to be, innit? Like, you know what I mean? But the older I get, the more I realize is like people don't have this in it. This is like a very rare thing to have, and it's a blessing. Alhamdulillah. Like it's a very big blessing to have. Because I feel like we've been through.
Yeah, well, I hear that. MashaAllah, man. How is marriage life now? Like, look, obviously, from I think Jibril and I's outlook is completely different. Because I feel like now, if I speak amongst men, do you know what I mean? It's anything that I say is like, you know what? I might as well just stay quiet. You know what I mean? Because
our opinions are irrelevant.
yeah, do you know what I mean? There's so many things where I feel like, yeah, you know what? Let me just stay quiet. So how is outlook on the other side of the fence? You know, when you look at things, what's changed, what hasn't changed?
Well, I think like obviously, like people think that, you know, you get married and you become this like totally different person, you know, like you become,
swear down.
You do some Transformers thing, you know, like probably what I thought as well, to be honest, before I got married. But you know, a lot of things stay the same in the sense that, you know, you're still the same person, you're still an individual. But I would say that, you know, there's obviously, like, there's a reason why marriage is half your deen. Do you get me? There's a reason why getting married is something that's highly recommended, why it will solve a lot of problems within our society, and that's because, you know, companionship, innit? You know, when you got companionship, that's something that's gonna elevate you regardless, innit? Do you know what I mean? So, you know, from that point of view, you know, obviously it's like the only thing I could say about it is that it's positive and it's an amazing thing that, you know, if you try and find the right person and, you know, you got the right time and if everything aligns properly, you know, definitely get married, man. You know what I mean? Mash up for this thing, man. You know what I mean?
Step it up, hit it. Nah, 100%. Mussa?
Yeah, well, I pretty much the same thing, man. Like it's a big blessing. I feel like people, like it's downplayed in it, which makes sense in it. Like, do you know what I'm saying to you? Like, no one that's married is gonna be like just talking about their blessings in life and stuff like that, which makes sense. Like it does make sense in it, but like obviously, like it's a very beautiful thing to have, and it's a very beautiful thing to have, and it's a blessing from Allah, and it's like Yasin said, it's half your deen for a reason, and I feel like in the society that we grow up in right now, where maybe like a lot of people talk about like don't get married young, or people that get married young they bash them, etc. I like now, like I'm old and I'm old now, but now I look at those people that bash those young people and I just think to myself, bro, they were just miserable people. They just they were just like, I guess they bash people for no, I don't want to say for no reason. I don't want to call people miserable, but it is weird saying that now. Do you know what I'm saying to you, bro? Like
now that you're on the other side,
yeah, it's very weird. And like, why would you not be happy for someone to get married? Do you know what I'm saying to you? They know what they do.
There's other reasons for that, you know, because I'll tell you right now, you know, if that same person who they're discouraging from getting married is saying they're gonna date a bunch of people, then they will encourage that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Well, like they're very anti.
Very weird. So there's a lot of other things that play there. But go on.
And then the culture of dating, I feel like it's 50, 70 years old. Before that, it was all about arranged marriage. Like two families coming together. All right, you've got a son, I've got a daughter. Like just politically, financially, you know, like there was a reasons to get married, you know what I mean? And that was arranged marriage was the way, you know what I mean, 100 years ago, 70, 80 years ago. Now people, the culture and societal norm today is to date 15 years, 20 years, have 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids, then be like, oh yeah, let's get married.
It's very weird, bro. Like I remember when I was growing up, I used to say to myself, yeah, like, you know, when I'm 22 or 23, it's the ideal age that I want to get married, innit? Like, that's what I always say to myself, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? But at that time, subhanAllah, like looking back now, like what was I doing? I was just traveling and working, and that's all I was doing. And that's helped me a lot in terms of who I am today, right? The person I am today, and kind of like in a non-cliche way, just finding myself and finding my who I am basically. So I feel like in that sense, it's good, isn't it, to discover who you are and to do that kind of stuff. But if two people genuinely want to get married and they're young, bro, I don't see the why anyone would be against that, innit? Other than the fact that they just don't want them to do anything that's halal, innit? They're just trying to stop them from doing that, innit? So
what about for Devis advocate? obviously people get married young,
Yeah.
not being ready to get married, and they're just doing it to fulfill their desires. Do you know what I mean?
What's the alternative though?
Yeah.
No, 100%. No, the alternative is to fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to get married to
People are
fulfill.
struggling to do it in Ramadan anyway. So
The thing
is-
in the society, that's not going to happen.
The thing is, people get married when they're old and they're not ready. People get married. People make mistakes.
Will you ever be ready?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why discourage people? You know what I mean? When it doesn't really make it. It makes a difference. Obviously, like you should go into these things, you know, having thought about it, having consulted, and this is why we've got like, you know, parents, we've got, you know, aunties and uncles, people that you can consult when it comes to this. So obviously think about it. Don't jump into something head first without thinking about it. If anyone tells you that's stupid. But for people to blanket disregard or blanket, you know, not recommend something because of the fact that they didn't do it or they wouldn't do it or whatever is stupid.
Yeah, and they I don't want to say they, but like some people on Twitter or all the social medias, they'll talk about like, oh, listen, like this, that, etc. And then like they'll discourage people from doing this, and then like 2 years later, they're getting married, bro. And it's like, yo, you were online discouraging people to not get married, but now here you are. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, you're clearly not on what you're advising people to do, which frustrates me, innit? Because if you were advising people to be on something, you should stick to that the thing that you're advising, innit? So, wallahi, marriage is a very beautiful thing, and life has been nothing. Alhamdulillah, wallahi, it's been amazing.
Alhamdulillah. People can't articulate why they're discouraging people. So obviously, we can take the stance where you're discouraging because you wouldn't do it, or you know, you feel miserable, whatever, blah blah. Some people see the current societal like contemporary issue of basically there's a high divorce rates. You know, kids are getting married young, don't know nothing about marriage, getting divorced again. So some people might take it from that angle of they're not trying to discourage you, but it's like you're not even ready. So maybe what we could do is prepare people for marriage.
Yeah, there should be marriage classes, bro.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like getting them into that mindset of, it doesn't matter whether you're 18 or 27 or 45. Just you need to actually kind of get yourself ready. There's a lot of compromises involved before you get married. You know what I mean? You can't just be set on your ways. You can't just, you know, you have to kind of be ready to go through ups and downs. You know what I mean? And people are not ready for that. So yeah, I feel like youngsters, maybe sometimes they get into marriage knowing that they want to complete half the deen, and they're doing it for the right reasons, but they don't have the tools, or they're not ready to get married. And that's where the problem is. The problem is not them trying to get married. The problem is they're not ready. And how can we get them ready is by teaching them. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of topics that are taboo, and marriage within our community, I feel like it's one of them, because we go from 0 to 100. We go from a girl being told in school, college, university, whatever, don't look at a guy, and a guy getting told don't look at a girl, focus on education. At one point, when the minute they're about to graduate, or they get into that last 6 months, or they have graduated, it's like, so what are you waiting for? Like, why are you not getting married? So it's like, you can't do that. It's not even aqli, and it don't even make sense.
Yeah, and it's a lot harder for women, especially in our like communities and stuff like that. But you're right. Wallahi, like this is something that we're not really prepped for, innit? The only prep we get, I'll tell you right now, bro, is we'll get reminded about the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ says, like go, like you should go get married, like if you have the ability in it. Do you know what I'm saying to you? And these are all beautiful reminders that we don't really take on board, innit? We just think to ourselves, like, and rightly so at the same time, like, like right now I'm just worried about working or finding work or getting into university or graduating university and securing myself and looking after my family, like my immediate, like my mum and my parents and stuff like that, which is all like reasonable thoughts that cross someone's mind, innit? But you're right, I really believe there should be more classes on marriages and not only encouraging it, but teaching people how to be the tools that you'll need to be happily married. I feel that's a very important topic that no one ever covers.
I agree 100%, bro. And you know, another aspect, which is, it's anchored in everything that we've said, but it requires kind of its own approach, which is, in light of all the changes, rapid changes that we've seen in society, and the way the framework for engagement between genders has changed, the way the roles have shifted, expectations have shifted, is not something that we are adequately prepared for, I think, because at least for me personally, I know that I used to see that as something that was outside our community. This idea that, all these changes that are happening in society are, outside, external, and it doesn't affect us because we have this framework where Islam, and it gives us everything, and, that's it, it's clear, which is true and is not true, because we are not isolated from the global society we live in. We are a product, we are part and parcel of that society, and the influences and the changes that are happening in that society is happening to us as well in real time. And I think we are doing ourselves, and our community is doing itself a disservice by not talking about these challenges, by not talking about these changes, by not talking about these tensions that now exist between men and women that didn't exist previously, and how we can put ourselves in a situation where we can take the best out of the situation and leave the negative aspects. So when we don't talk about these things, when these contemporary challenges, when these things are impacting our society, when we don't talk about them, when we don't even recognize them, and don't recognize that these are real, that these exist, and they need to be engaged with in a non-confrontational way, in a way where we take away the heat of it, the emotion of it, and the bias of it, and try to find a solution that really works for our communities. We're not gonna deal with it, because that divorce rate that we're talking about, where I think over 50% now of divorce rates of marriages end up in divorce. The Muslim community is not that far behind, So the question has to be asked: but why? That tells us that we're not separate from the challenges, the contemporary challenges in society. We're not separate from it. It's impacting us as deeply as it is everyone else. We might be a bit more sheltered from it, but those rates are hitting us just as hard. So if we don't talk about these things, if we don't engage with them in a very critical way, it's not looking nice for any of us, to be honest.
I completely agree. I think as you're saying, man, like education when it comes to these things is the key, right? To sustaining and to building a happy relationship and a happy marriage. If you know what is expected from you, and this is why our deen has like sort of safeguards, and it's got like parameters in place where this is what's expected from you, this is what you gotta like do, and this is the things that you have to fulfill, and that goes for both parties within a marriage. That safeguards you from being in a situation where one side feels aggrieved, or one side feels like there's something that they're being oppressed basically within a relationship. So I completely agree. I think people don't have people hear the success stories, and people hear they see the Instagram couple who's doing fun things or whatever, but they might be a miserable couple, whereas another couple who's not really talking or posting anything about that, they might be putting real tangible work into their relationship that's not going online, and as a result of that they might have a happy, healthy marriage, which then might result in kids in the future that are growing up in a very nurtured environment, etc., etc. So I think education is number one when it comes to these kinds of things. 100%.
That last point you made right now about the people on TikTok or YouTube and these different things and how they post about their marriage and stuff like that. It's very interesting, because say someone's like a TikTok is 15 seconds, and if they seem happy in that 15 seconds, bro, then the world thinks they're happy, right? And when you look at today's society, the last point you just made about the TikTok thing or like YouTube or anything like that, when you have to literally fill just 15 seconds, it's not hard to act like you're happy, right? It's not hard to kind of get that across. And when you see the world, when the world sees you being happy for that 15 seconds, and they now assume you're happy in that marriage, etc., or whatever it might be, I feel like it can affect other people that are actually like on the normal, like if it's like a scale of happy, normal, or unhappy, people that are the normal one that don't like do what these guys are doing on these TikToks. I feel like it can genuinely affect them very easily, because they can be like, wait, how comes this person does this and that and we don't do this, and how comes these guys do this and we don't do that, or you know what I mean? It can easily affect that person, because you are in that, and you are like you're in a very normal state. You're very happy, and now you're looking at these people that are compressing their portraying that image of like traveling or doing something like, you know what I mean, like extravagant stuff and all that kind of stuff in it. So I feel like that is also a dangerous thing for people that are married, and also for the people that aren't married. Because say someone is showcasing like a mad extravagant lifestyle, and they're happily married and all that kind of stuff on these pages, and you're thinking to yourself, right, I'm not ready to do that kind of stuff. I might not have the financial needs like to give someone that kind of lifestyle. And is this what's expected of me, right? So that might stop someone from thinking, okay, I want to get married now. So it's really like it's very interesting when you see the content that's produced out there in our day to day, and the things that we consume, and how easily it can affect people like in the society that we live in.
I think you gotta be realistic, innit? I think you gotta be realistic with yourself and what you want out of a marriage if you're going to get married. Inshallah, not when you're getting married. And when you see these couples, and just know that it's social media at the end of the day. Like, you know, have that thought in the back of your head. Like you said, it's 15 seconds. You know what I mean? I can rent a Ferrari and pretend like I drive it every day. You know what I'm saying? It's BS. So if you know that, and obviously if the person you're going to get married to knows that, then inshallah it should be okay. But if the person, if your other half sees this and it just falls for the trap, then I think it's a discussion needs to be had.
Yeah.
And you know, just to clarify certain expectations, and you know what I mean, just to have I think one of my friends also mentioned that a lot of couples, mashallah, when they want to get married, it's very like roller coaster thing. People just dive into it. But one point I want to touch on, Abdifatah said as well, not just to educate the youth in general about marriage, but when the two people want to get married, for them to have like a proper marriage counseling session before, like not you know, people have marriage counseling when it's about to fall apart, right? But have like a counseling session where the right questions are asked, so you know so the right questions are asked between each person, so they know what to expect. So there's no hidden answers, there's no hidden stuff, you know what I'm saying? So then inshallah there will be a better understanding between the two, and khair inshallah, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides khair. So just make dua, pray istikhara, you're Gucci, you know what I'm saying?
And there's I just wanted to add something really quick, something I really benefited from. There's a series on YouTube called Before I Say I Do by Sheikh Yasser Fazaga, who is he's someone we've actually done a video with before. He's an incredible person. He's a community leader. He's a sheikh, an alim. He's a mental health expert. He's a expert in family therapy, in marriage therapy. So he's someone with a wealth of knowledge. And he did this series. This is a while back, maybe 10 years ago, I think. He did the series in Malaysia. Now Malaysia, I think it was Malaysia or Indonesia. Subhanallah, I can't recall. It's one of the countries. But the country that he did it in have got an incredible approach towards marriage, which is, you know, very much centered around, like Yasin said, education. This idea of educating young people, young prospective couples on their responsibilities and what to expect and, you know, what's required of them. So it's an incredible series. It's not all in one place. So you'll find part 1 here, you'll find part 2, you know, there. I think it's about 15 to 20 parts, I think. It's an incredibly informative series. Before I Say I Do by Sheikh Yasser Fazaga, highly recommended from me.
No, that's beautiful, mashallah. And also, Jibril, you and I, we graduated in that time. How do you feel ever since you've graduated? Like, do you feel like it's always what you were looking forward to, or it's completely different? Like, how is working life?
Well, so, you know, me and Fatah, we graduated 2020, which is 2.5 years ago now, and we felt like we've been in education very long time, to the point where we saw people, you know, living life and, getting married and having children and divorcing people. It was mad. We just watching everyone's life through this lens, and we're just at university trying to get through. Alhamdulillah, you know, now it's at this point in my life, alhamdulillah, now I feel like I'm more of a contributor in my family, you know, whereas before I was a student, I received a lot of help, and I was seen as the person that needed help. But now, alhamdulillah, I feel like I can help myself, and I've reached points in my life in many different aspects that, you know, that I'm happy with, and I've grown, and I've seen my friends grow, and I see my friends go through different lives, and alhamdulillah, I feel like, you know what, it was a standstill at university, so I was still, and everybody was going, and then alhamdulillah, as soon as I graduated, I just kind of like leaped bounds, and I'm more or less what I felt like in my head, or I perceived to be more or less in the same you know, pace as everyone else. Alhamdulillah, it's all good, man. You know, life is good. All good. You know what I'm saying? We're working, we're living life. You know what I'm saying? Well, alhamdulillah, I can't say anything else, man. I just got a knee injury. That's the only thing.
That's the new thing, yeah.
That's the only thing. So I'm hobbling around.
I feel like, I don't know, like ever since we graduated, I feel like I'm still trying to find my feet. It's weird, you know. Like I'm trying to figure out who I am outside of being a student, because that's all I've known, and that's all I've been doing, you know what I mean, for what, 23, 24 years of my life. So it was like, now it's like, okay, your schedule, your timetable, anything you want to do is up to you. Customize that timetable, you know what I mean? And it's like, okay, what the hell do I need to do? What's important to me? You know, what is not so important? Because every September, I feel like we used to get a schedule, and it was like, that's my timetable for the year. And I used to kind of schedule my time around that. Anything outside, the extracurricular that I wanted to do outside of that, I had to kind of schedule it in. Whereas now, I can literally customize my schedule. And it's scary for me because, like, in my head, I've got so many things I want to do. But then it's like, are you over ambitious? Do you know what I mean? Like, the timetable I want to create and reality and the way, you know, your salary works, you're thinking, actually, nah, man, you need to kind of slow down. So I've literally realized I can't be working for the rest of my life, man. That's one realization I've had. Like, I need something
flexibility
beyond work. Yeah, I need flexibility. I need the
freedom. And
I've not been working long, so I don't know how you guys have been doing it for this long. But like, it's just weird.
Just grinders, bro. Just grind, bro. I took a whole hiatus, bro, from work.
I know why you did now.
Yeah.
I feel it. Before, I used to look at you like, bro, are you crazy? Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, I remember one guy pulled me to the side. He said, listen. I know you didn't just leave your job. I know you got a plan. What's your plan? I think this is such a weird conversation to have, bro. Like, bro, I literally, like, I didn't have a deep plan or anything like that, bro. I was like, I just left, and I needed to just change my environment. And he's like, nah, I refuse to believe that you just done that. Like, do you know what I'm saying to you? And I know that, guys, I understand his perspective now more than ever, because he was in a different space in life than I was in it. So I can kind of understand why he felt like that. But these are good things to have in it. Well, I feel like our circles haven't been exposed to these type of walks of life. In it. There's people, bro, that are making stupid amount of money, bro, and doing ridiculous things that seem very simple if I was to break it down for you right now. But we weren't exposed to that kind of stuff. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But it wasn't really our network in it. So it's good that you have that mentality now. I feel like it's a very good thing to have now. It's just about exposing yourself more to more people, and you'll be scared to see how easy it can be done, innit? Because it seems like something that's very impossible.
Do you think sometimes like the way you took a hiatus, do you think like that's such a privileged move?
Yeah,
that's how we looked at you, like, bro, are you serious?
It's a very privileged move. Alhamdulillah, bro. Allah just blessed me, bro. I at that moment in my time, I was just thinking to myself that I just need to bounce in it. Because like the mad thing is, like, so I was working, Yasin was working, and I remember, like, we used to go like on holidays, innit? We used to go Cuba or stuff like that, and then we'd have to come back to these jobs, innit? And I used to be like, yo, this is not it whatsoever. Like, I used to tell myself, nah, because we'd have like the blast of our life, innit? And we always used to go for like 2 weeks. That's the worst part, bro. Imagine like 2 weeks, you forget your day-to-day life. and then you come back, you're like, nah, this is surely not it. But alhamdulillah, wallah, like these things are very important. Wallah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, 100%.
My guy's reminiscing about the holidays, yeah?
Bro, like, why did you have to mention Cuba? I got work on Monday.
Yeah, same
Why
man.
would you say that to me, man?
Same, I'm back at work as well. But bro, like,
Trying to forget it.
yeah, it's different though, innit? But wallahi, alhamdulillah, like again, we're just growing, we're
Everything's
just
a
growing.
blessing, you know what I mean? Life, you learn, you live and learn, you know what I mean, man? Like you said, man, because I did the same thing. I had a whole year off work. I wouldn't say I wasn't working, but I was like not in employment, so I wasn't working.
What were you doing, bro?
I was trapping now. No, but yeah, like I think you know, like one of the lessons I had to learn the hard way was that, you know, a lot of these things they're not superficial because you need it, but it's not real, bro. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Like, it's all, especially work, innit? Anyways, let me not get cancelled.
Let's not get into that. 'Cause people need, bro. You know,
People still need to work. No. What I mean is, like, you got a life, innit? Like, you got a life. You've got a social life. You've got a social circle. You've got, you know,
Family.
your own self-worth. How you're seen in one place of employment, and might not be what your worth is. Do you know what I mean? So you
Yes.
can't project yourself onto that and think, I'm just a junior, this or that or whatever. So therefore, you know what I mean, this big shot here is better than me, because that's not the case. So yeah, it takes some time to, like, obviously you always know that, but you know, like, it becomes, when you're going to the same place every single day for several years in a row, especially back then, there was no working from home or nothing. So you're in certain environments all the time. It's just, you know what I mean, it compounds in it. So I think that's a whole entire video altogether. You know, yeah, man. Moral of the story is,
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I won't say it, but you know what the moral of the story is.
It's just one of those things that, you know, like reflecting back
Mm-hmm.
on what the last few years, you realize how far you've come. You know what I mean? And I just want to say, guys, I'm very, very, very proud of the men we're becoming, and the path we've walked so far. And you know, I remember 18-year-old Mussa, Yasin, Salman, Abdifatah, and Jibs, and it's like, yeah, we've definitely come a long way. And certain things we never thought we would achieve, that were just ambitions and goals, we can sit here now and talk about it. You know what I mean?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. And that itself, like, we should be proud of. And I know like we were talking about this earlier, how we don't give each other the flowers we deserve, you know, whilst we're alive. But it's important to kind of acknowledge, like, the progress you've made, as well as where you need to improve, you know what I mean? But sometimes you need to kind of just encourage each other to continue doing what you're doing, because, you know, you're doing great. So yeah, just, that's my way of saying keep going, lads.
Yeah, don't die, guys. Keep living. No, like it's a very beautiful thing. Like to wrap it up, I feel like it's crazy because I feel like we all see each other in the same light that we did back in the day, innit? But we all know at the same time and acknowledge that we're all in different spaces in life, innit?
Yeah,
So it's a good thing because that means that we can still speak to each other on that same level, innit? And no one's ever gonna get too big for the boots, innit? So alhamdulillah, wallah, it's a blessing that Allah has given us, and we say alhamdulillah, and may Allah bless everyone else that's watching this video or who doesn't watch this video with nothing but happiness and khair in their life. And yeah, I feel that's a great way to wrap up. But you know, sorry, Salman, go on, do your thing, bro. I feel like you'll do it better than that.
So what was it?
King of
rap.
outros.
Oh, man said I'm king the outros.
Sorry, bro. I feel like I just took your whole
Subhanallah.
spot,
My whole life is distilled to this one point, the king
himself.
outros.
No, he
I checked myself. I stopped myself, bro.
Listen, yeah, I need to know my place.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
100%.
That's
Nah,
growth.
do you know what? That is growth.
That's growth.
That 100% is
100% that's
I'm
growth.
telling you, bro. But you know, I just wanted to add the final thing to what you were saying, Fatah, and talking about just, you know, the journey we've been on this past however many years you want to look at. For me, for you, man, the way it was beautifully crystallized was that one picture that went viral. The graduate your graduation picture. Yeah. you know, as beautiful as it was, as wonderful as it was, and as nice as the outpouring of love and support that you lot got from around the world was, and this kind of ties into the point that I think Mussa made earlier. They just saw a snapshot of that moment. You know, they have no idea what your journey looked like, what it took to get to that snapshot moment of you standing there with your coat. Do you know what I mean? And how that journey didn't start in Romania. It started in Birmingham when you were in college from 16. Do you know what I mean? And the same for Jibril, you know, the journey he took to get to where he is today, the detours he had to take. Do you know what I mean? The sharp rights and lefts. You know what I mean? Subhanallah. And that's one thing that people don't appreciate. They just see the end result. They see the title. They see the accolade. They see. But they don't know what it took to get there. You know, so just as much as you're showing your appreciation for us and what we've accomplished, we were there for every step of the way. We saw what it took to get to where you got to, and you know, we are all incredibly proud of what you lot have accomplished, Dr. Jibril and Dr. Abdifatah. One time for the doctor. So no one's gonna jump.
I joined. I couldn't actually do that.
And on that slightly disappointing
It's like
and
20 minutes before I start.
you know,
It's actually, wallah, alhamdulillah.
Wallahi, have we actually made it?
Oh, don't chat rubbish.
An hour before.
Oh,
Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Because it makes it
Why
more
would you
like
do that?
For the cameras.
Subhanallah.
Like, about an hour before I start.
On that point, what does the Jeremy say on that disappointing end? Thank you so much for watching. I've been Salman. This has been Abdifatah. That's Yasin. That's Jibril. Yo, listen up. We're so hungry and tired.
don't say my name, bro. You said stop at Jibril.
That's Jibril.
Why? No, wallah,
They look at Gamey.
yeah, so why did I get left out, bro?
I'll say Abduli. Folks, please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you
And
can be
thank you guys.
notified
Wait.
whenever we release a video. That's a little
Salman.
bell button.
I just want to say one thing, bro. If you
No
don't
one
mind.
cares, bro.
Yasin, give me 1 second, bro. I just want to say something.
Come on, just 1 second, bro. Come on, Yasin. Isn't there?
Go on, what's
no
it?
need for
Yasin
that.
isn't real. I just want you guys to know this. This guy's a hologram. He doesn't exist. Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.